I've essentially made football my life up until this point. I can't turn around and say God isn't good, and God hasn't opened doors, and God hasn't made a way, because I signed my first professional contract at the age of 24. Not many people can say that. You can also get some people that claim to be Christian, but don't act like Christ. And you can get someone that's an atheist or any other religion that they don't believe in God, but the way they live is very Christ-like.
As soon as I stepped into the building, I started speaking in tongues.
Wow.
As a Muslim.
She was speaking to me and she was just like, yeah, Jed, everything you're telling me right now just shows me you don't trust God. And I got so angry, like, oh, what do you mean I don't trust God? Like, everything I've done up until this point has shown trust in God. Like, I thought this is what you said.
Exactly.
And everything that's happening is the opposite. So what's going on? And if you want me to just quit, then I'll quit, but say it, because I'm tired of trying to follow some sort of plan, and I'm telling myself I'm following your leadership, but it keeps going wrong.
If God was to say your time of being a footballer is over, would your heart posture still be in the same place to worship him to your fullest?
It has to be, man.
Hi guys, welcome back to another episode of the Echoes of Experience show. I am your host, Mariam, and today we have an amazing guest, an amazing man of God. He is the CEO of the Tribe Collection. He is a footballer and also known for his part to play in the Family Ties show. We have Jedidiah.
Yeah, Jedidiah Brown here. I'm actually, do you know what? Being on camera, I feel like I've gotten used to it, but I'm still very, very shy and awkward. So
I think because
just
you're by
bear with me,
yourself.
guys. It is weird not having my brothers next to me. Yeah, I don't know. You probably know me from loads of places at this point. I play football, got a clothing brand, podcast. I drum at church now as well, which is also really cool. So yeah, I'm just fingers in all the pies, you know.
Amen.
Yeah.
Thank you so much for coming on the show.
It's cool.
I know that you're
Glad to
super
be
busy,
here.
so
No,
thank you so much.
I'm actually all right.
You're actually all right.
I'm actually
now.
right, yeah.
So the show is basically about the importance of testimony. So
Yeah.
by God's grace, someone somewhere will hear your testimony and will have questions answered, or any questions that they have to ask, we'll ask them in the comments below.
Cool.
So my first question to you is, how did you get to know Christ?
A simple answer is through my parents. I grew up in a family of 8.
Wow.
So I'm one of 6 kids. I'm the youngest.
Wait, me too. I don't know why I said wow.
No
I don't
way.
know why I said wow.
There's only so few of us, man.
Honestly.
Yeah, I'm the youngest of 6. I've got a twin sister who you would see on, Family Ties here and there. But we would go to church every single Sunday, and yeah, just kind of stemmed from there.
And what made your relationship with Christ grow to where it is now?
That is a very good question. I feel like I've had my fair share of like trials and stuff in life, but I think around when I was, I want to say 18, when I was 17, I left home for a bit. I say that like I wasn't back every weekend anyways, but I left home for a bit to go to a football college, and I dropped out of my A-levels, switched to BTEC Sport and the football college. And I think from then on, it just kind of grew exponentially, because I had to rely so much on God in terms of what was going on in my life at that point. The college I went to, things didn't really work out in the end. I got injured at the end of the season, which kind of ruined everything that happened before that. And then I came back, was playing football here and there on Sundays, but then I was also going to Hillsong in Bermondsey, and one of my youth leaders just kind of put their arm around me and they were like, Jed, we need more guys on the youth team. We want you to do it. Like, we think you'd be great. And I was like, yeah, why not? I mean, I'm not doing anything. So I signed up to the youth team. And then from there, it was just, yeah.
It just spiraled from there.
Crazy. Crazy.
And tell me about your family household within Christ.
Yeah, my parents, shout out to them, just very, very prayerful. So we're Nigerian, and I guess that was the way they were raised. They've done their best to make sure that we were raised in the same way. And yeah, there's so many different things I can think of. Prayers on a Saturday morning, being woken up as a kid and just not, when you're like so tired, but your parent is just like,
keep going.
My mum would flick us with water sometimes to just get us up, whether that was for school or for prayers. we had obviously fasting and prayer at the end of the year of our church, 3 days. So just little experiences like that. They were in the choir, church choir. I was too young and my sister was too young at a point, so we were just crawling under the chairs while they were rehearsing and stuff like that. But yeah, like everything was church at that point. So it felt like church in the home and church outside the home, if that makes sense. Yeah, my parents are... I think they did a really good job.
Yeah.
I think they did a really good job of us. And yeah.
So you said that you had an injury with football.
Yes.
That kind of grew your relationship with Christ.
Yeah, so I think this was the first time I had an injury that was quite significant. I can't even remember what it was I did to my knee, but I got injured towards the end of the season when I was 18. And at the time we were challenging for the league title. And it was almost like, if we win this, then those of us that do really well will get put into like academies at pro clubs. That was like the promise that they gave us. And then I got injured and one of my friends, the captain, got injured at the same time. So we missed the last few games, ended up finishing maybe third in the league. And then they were just like, listen, you guys messed it up. None of you's getting opportunities, blah, blah, blah. And I was just like, wow, I've left everything to come here. And I was so like sure that this was going to be it. This was going to be the opportunity I was looking for. And it just didn't work out. And so when I came back home, obviously I still had my parents and my family encouraging me. And I was playing on Sundays with my brothers. And then I went on a trial with Wickham. I think this was when I was 19. I went on trial with Wickham. Did well, but they were obviously doing really well at that point. So they said, like, look, we think you're good, but we don't need anyone right now. And you're also still a bit young, so try and get some men's football somewhere. And so I was kind of bouncing around non-league football for a bit, and anyone that has been in non-league football will tell you that one there, if you're doing that without God, I just don't know how, because it is the absolute trenches. I don't want to say it like that so that people think I'm bad-mouthing non-league football, but so much goes on that requires a significant amount of perseverance. And for me, I don't think you can persevere like that without Christ. So from all the things like the knockbacks I faced then till now, I think that is what has kind of like shaped my relationship with Christ.
Why is it important for you to be so vulnerable and vocal and open about your relationship with Christ on social media?
Just because there's a platform for it. I don't actually like social media. I'm not a fan. Why? I think it's good for memes. I love the memes.
But you just don't like it.
And yeah, like I think we take social media too seriously. And I find it very, very draining to like keep on top of things. It can be so funny. There's some funny people in the world, but it's also very, very toxic. And so if I could have it my way, I would have deleted social media a long time ago. But I got a platform I didn't necessarily ask for. I think it's weird because obviously I know I always wanted to be, someone that's a footballer, you want to like make it to the highest level. With that would come the fame and all of those things. But that's not really something I would want.
Right.
So in my mind, I never really considered being, I guess, famous. It was more, I would have loved to like make it to Ronaldo's level, and yet I could go to the shop and no one knows who I am.
Right.
But it's just not possible. Right. And how my following even came about was just from, where was it? I went to Thorpe Park with my brother and another one of the sidemen, and we all took a picture. They tagged me in the post, and then just like that, followers shot up from a few hundred to like 11K or something within the first, I don't know, few days. Before I knew it, 30K, 50, and I was just like, yeah, fair enough. And I say this like it's not it's a good thing to have the following, but it also comes with an expectation of you have to be careful what you say, and you don't want to upset people, and you know, And I just don't know if this is something, the level I'm dealing with it at is very, very small.
Yeah.
There are people that have millions of followers that have to like be so careful. And I don't think it's healthy to deal with.
Right.
But the fact that I have even a small amount, I feel like I'm supposed to use that to at least share, if that makes sense.
But there is so much stigma within posting Christ on social media. So
Yes.
how do you find the resilience to continuously do so?
I just couldn't care less.
You
Like,
just don't, you just don't care.
At the end of the day, I'm not living for anyone else. I'm supposed to be living for Christ. When I die, people might cry for a bit, but they're going to move on. They're going to forget me.
Right.
I'm thinking more about what comes on the other side of this life, if that makes sense. And if I have a platform where I can share with someone or even just help one person meet Christ and I don't use it, then it's kind of like the parable of the talents where something's been put in your hand, instead of cultivating it and working that thing and making something more of it, you bury it and don't use it.
Yeah, yeah.
And I don't want to be a wicked servant.
So before we start the podcast, you spoke about brand deals and there's certain things that you will take and there's certain things that you won't take due to discernment. So how important is discernment for you?
I would say it's very important. I like to think I do my best in taking everything to God in prayer. It's not easy because there's sometimes you'll pray and feel like you're not hearing anything from God. But when it comes to things within, I guess, this sector, I think there's a clear line as to whether something does or does not glorify God. And if I can look at something and be like, yeah, do you know, if I did this, God would be happy with me, then I don't really need to hesitate. But if I can look at it and say, does this compromise my values in any way, then I should probably just stay away from it. Even if it's a grey area, if there's any chance that it might go against what I believe or what I say I believe, then I'll try to avoid it as best as I can.
You know, with your family being quite big in the media world or social media world, how do you deal with them doing what they do and then you being for Christ or 100% for Christ, if that makes sense?
I think quite easily because they're all like me. So they're all, even my brothers are the same. As much as I'll post, they'll post, you know, whether it's a little Easter post on Easter Sunday or just on a random day, put in a post, God loves you guys, have a great day, you know, anything to let people know where we stand.
Yeah.
And because we're all on one page in that sense, it doesn't actually feel like I'm doing something different.
Yeah.
You know?
Tell me about some hardships within your journey with Christ, other than the football one.
So I think this is where it's tough because I've essentially made football my life up until this point. And so everything is kind of tied into that.
Yeah.
And I mean, we're talking about hardships, like I'm not going through any now, you know? But I think because of the pedestal I put football on initially, that's why all of the hardships kind of are either rooted in that or stem from that. And so I had to get to a point where someone at church, actually, this was the youth leader that said that I should become a youth leader when I was a youth. She just came to me one day and she was speaking to me about like my football and stuff. And this was before I had an interview to go and work in my primary school. I never thought I'd go and work in a school, didn't plan to. My sister helped me do the application process. They said, yeah, come in. And the day before, I was just like, I don't really want to go. Even if they say yes, I'm not going to take it. That's what I told myself. And it was a Sunday. So she was speaking to me and she was just like, yeah, Jed, everything you're telling me right now just shows me you don't trust God. And I got so angry, like, oh, what do you mean I don't trust God? Like, everything I've done up until this point has showed trust in God. I left A-levels, I went to Woking to play football for a year. I did this, I did that, blah, blah, blah. I've been going to this club and this club and this club. Everything I've done in life shows that I trust God. When in reality, everything I did to that point was, God, this is my plan. Bless it. And just do what I want you to do with what I'm giving you. Don't tell me what to do. And when she said that to me, I was able to kind of like fully surrender everything. I say that as if I've not fallen back into a place where I'm still a bit like, God, like this is my plan, bless it, you know. But at the time, I was able to fully surrender, and that was the first time I would say all the kind of hardships I was facing didn't feel so hard. Everything else felt very, very easy. But in a general sense, it feels like the majority of the tough things I've faced in life have all stemmed from football, which is weird because...
Do you feel like you're called to football then? Or do you think what you've just said?
That's what I was
Who
thinking.
am I? I'm just
As I was saying it, I was thinking like, surely I shouldn't be. But at the same time,
you feel like football is a desire of the heart?
It is. But at the same time, I think one thing I've come to realize over specifically the last 2 years of my life, is God does have something for me to do within football. It's just not the way I pictured it. The way I pictured it was, I'm going to be the best footballer in the world. I'm going to win this many Ballon d'Ors and this many trophies. I'll play in Italy, Spain, France, Germany, anywhere. But that doesn't feel like what God has planned for me right now. And I guess the tension was coming to terms with God's plan versus my plan.
Yeah.
But I still feel like there's something in football. I just don't know what it is.
One thing that I would say is we're in kind of a similar situation because I put everything into education.
Yeah.
I have my undergrad in accounting, master's in computer science, and my plan for myself is to get a nice job in London, an apartment in central London, you know, the typical. But I don't have any other desire other than to be a corporate babe.
Yeah.
But God told me to start the podcast. So I started the podcast. And it's almost as if every desire that I have connected to the educational side goes wrong, you know?
Yeah.
To the point where I had no choice but to post a podcast, right? Now all these things are coming. You're on here. I've had amazing guests on here. So it's opened doors. But because I haven't surrendered my desire of stability to Christ, and I didn't go through all of that, God, just for you to tell me now I'm not going to do anything with my education.
Yeah.
So there must be some sort of something that you want me to do in something, you know?
Yeah.
Like, you know, the desires of my heart, right? Maybe that's why I'm not seeing the whole fruits of what I'm doing, right?
Yeah.
So do you feel like that may be for you in a sense? And surrendering it by being like, God, take control with the football.
Yeah.
And if it's your desire for me to be a footballer or whatever, Ballon d'Or, whatever you call it, do that. But if not, then allow me to go within your will.
Yeah. And I feel like I actually hit that point. It felt like hitting a concrete wall.
It's so painful.
Yeah. Like, honestly, I told you before I cried, right? I don't think I've ever felt the way I did when I hit that point. Like, I feel like I felt rock bottom before, but this was different.
This was like the deep bottom.
This was, oh my gosh. Like, to the point where I'm almost fighting with God.
Yeah.
Because it's like,
this is what I want.
I thought this is what you said.
Exactly.
And everything that's happening is the opposite. So what's going on? And if you want me to just quit, then I'll quit. But say it, because I'm tired of trying to follow some sort of plan, and I'm telling myself I'm following your leadership, but it keeps going wrong. And I think this is why I say I feel like there is something. I just don't know what it is or how it looks. Because I was very, very, I mean, the closest I've come to quitting football just a few months ago. And anyone can ask my family, they'll say the same thing. They've never seen me like that. And it was almost scary to see me like that, because you could actually see Jed looks defeated. He just looks like he's done, right? And I had a day where I just said, God, I believe this is still the plan. But if it's not, that's cool. I'm going to give it up to you. Just hurry up and tell me, because I'm actually tired of waiting on you at this point. And I feel like having that raw emotional prayer and that conversation with God, and then having conversations with my family and them still encouraging me and stuff, is what led me to the point where I'm like, okay, no, there's definitely something here. Because if I actually look at my testimony for what it is, and the things that have happened up until this point, I can't turn around and say God isn't good, and God hasn't opened doors, and God hasn't made a way. Because I signed my first professional contract at the age of 24. Not many people can say that, especially because to that point I had never been in a football academy. So I was playing Sunday league or semi-pro football and signed my first pro age of 24. Even though things at that club didn't go the way I would have hoped in terms of like playing time and stuff, the team got promoted. They won the playoffs. That was a crazy experience to be a part of. And when I look at it, as frustrated as I was in that moment, because the year before I actually said, I had a discussion with one of my teammates, and I said, next year, if this team stays as it is and the manager stays and everything kind of like aligns, next year we will get promoted. We said that in agreement, both of us Christians, we said that in agreement. When it came around to that, I was frustrated because I didn't get to play a part the way I thought I would. But then I had to check myself and be like, wait, no, God, I said something and you did it. Even though it doesn't feel like my testimony, that's proof of I prayed something, I believed something, I had faith, and you made it happen, you know? And the way it happened was very, very mad. The way I signed for the club was very mad. I was working in a school, like I said. I was in a school from February. I always get the year wrong when people ask me this. I feel like it's 2022. I feel like it's 2022 or 2023. Yeah, definitely after COVID. I was there from February till October, went on trial in November, and signed in January, at the end of January. So I was on trial for a few months. It didn't make any sense because I didn't even have a club at that point. I'd just been playing semi-pro, signed for a Step 5 team, Fisher. I played 5 games and then I went on trial. So it's not like I was fit enough sharp. Like, there was no way that opportunity should have come about, one. And there's no way I should have, I guess, been given that long to actually say, okay, do you know what, we'll give this guy a chance. But those things happened by the grace of God. And I got to, you know, wake up and train every day, live my dream at my first ever club. The fact that that happened when it shouldn't have happened tells me there's more to the story. You know? So I feel like there is definitely something. I just don't know what it is. Even if it is just that, then I can take pride in that, because I feel like that's a lot. It's an achievement. It's a story that a lot of people have taken encouragement from. And that's one of the main reasons why I want to do what I'm doing. Because I want someone to be able to look at my story and look at my faith and be like, oh, God did it for him. If God did it for him, God can do it for me. You know? So, yeah. One thing that I said to God is, like you said, just tell me the answer, right? Why are you keeping me in a place of uncertainty? Like, you're not a God of confusion. And he said, is your heart posture in the right place for me to tell you the answer? You know, will you turn from me if I tell you the answer? Even though the answer may be like, yeah, I want you to get a job in Birmingham or in Nottingham or whatever. Would your heart posture be in a place to where you'll receive the answer and still worship me to the fullest of your ability? You know, do you feel like that can relate to you? So if God was to say, your time of being a footballer is over, you never know, like God forbid, because that's your dream and desire, would your heart posture still be in the same place to worship him to your fullest? It has to be, man. It just has to be. It's so difficult, isn't it? It's difficult, but it has to be, because if God is saying that, that means that was not the best path for me. And at this point, I now have to trust that whatever he has for me is better than that. And if I do surrender and I do allow that to play out in my life, then I'll end up on the other side like, oh yeah, do you know, I I can see why now. It makes perfect sense why you didn't let that happen.
Yeah.
I always used to question God and say, oh, why didn't I get into an academy when I was much younger? Because I was actually really good at football, and people were always saying I should have been in an academy. Why did it not happen? I got scouted by Charlton when I was 10, and the story of how I didn't end up there is quite funny because my brother at the time took me to one of my school matches where they scouted me, and obviously he was too young for the scout to speak to. My dad wasn't there because he was working, I think. So the scout then spoke to one of the other parents, who was also one of the parents from my Sunday league team at the time.
Yeah.
And then I've turned up on Sunday and the other boys are asking like, oh, like we heard you got scouted by Charlton. Oh, you're not going to go, are you? We don't want you to leave. And me being like the people pleasing kid, like, oh no guys, I'm not going to go anywhere. Don't worry, blah, blah, blah. And then we never got that guy's contact moving forward. And that's at 10 years old. I could have been in an academy from way younger.
Yeah.
But I would always ask, oh, like, what is it? What more do I have to do? Scouts have come to my games. I've gone to all these different like trial games and stuff, and I've played well, but I never seem to get spotted. It's only when I finally hit 23, 24, 25 that I could see that stuff probably would have been more detrimental to someone like me. And I probably needed to go through what I went through for my faith to grow to this point.
Yeah.
So in the same way, if God was to now turn around and say, yeah, look, that's not it. In the moment, it will really hurt. But on the other side of it, on the other side of the testimony, I'll be able to look back and be like, oh yeah, do you know what, God, I see why you did that. It makes sense. And I'm grateful.
Sometimes, you know how you said just now, not just now, but before you said like you were going through a period not long ago where you were really crying out to God and seeking guidance. Do you feel like you hear from God in a certain way?
Yes, I do. But this is weird because I'd literally had this discussion with my boy last night. Not even last night, it's probably like 1 a.m. this morning. I feel like I hear from God very clearly in dreams. However, recently I've not felt that.
Same.
And it's just very, very
irritating.
Yeah.
Because now it's kind of like,
am I hearing from God?
Right.
But I actually watched the sermon the other day titled Hearing God's Voice, and he basically said something. It actually really challenged me. But he was basically saying, if you're not hearing God, then it's probably to do with you moving rather than God moving. God hasn't moved, and God is always speaking.
Right.
So if you're not hearing him, then you need to get in tune so you can hear him.
Exactly.
And that's why I was like, okay, cool. So it is a me issue because I think I'm doing everything right, but I'm not. This isn't say it's performative, but for example, I can't expect to have a relationship with God if I don't spend time in the Word because I'm not going to know him. So even though you can say reading the Bible every day is like maybe treating it like a ritual or something like that, it's not, because to build a relationship with someone, you have to speak to them frequently. To build a relationship with Christ, you have to read the Word.
That's true.
In the same way, for me to hear from him, I have to actually be in tune. I have to listen. If he's told me something before, then I need to be obedient to what he told me before. Not just, oh no, I'm not going to hear that one, but I'll wait for the next instruction. Meanwhile, God's still waiting. I told you what to do already. When you're ready to be obedient,
the next instruction will come.
You know? So I feel like it's something where I need to now reposition myself in a place where I'm able to hear from God the way I did before. Because I still have so many dreams. I dream every single night. I promise you, every single night. I'll have some serious dreams, some wacky dreams, whatever it is. I'm always having some sort of dream. But the frequency at which I'm having dreams where I feel like I'm hearing from God has reduced, which tells me that I've probably moved away and I've not been
as consistent.
As consistent. So, yeah, I think it's just that.
Tell me about how important it is for you to read the Word. You touched on it just now.
Me personally or in general?
For you personally.
For me personally, is very important because I now lead a Bible study at my church or one of the like young adults groups that we have at church. And I feel like I can't turn up on a Wednesday night and do a session and try and answer questions when I've not even done my due diligence and read what the word says. So if we're talking about, we did a study on the book of Daniel, I can't turn up and say, guys, we're going to read Daniel chapter 1 today. Let's read it and then we'll discuss. And I've not come prepared, because if someone asks a really good question that needs an answer, you can argue I could have faith and say, oh yeah, like the Spirit will just download it to me in that moment and I'll say it. But God is a God of process,
right,
and preparation. And so if I have the time to prepare for something, and I should use that time to prepare for it, then I can't now expect everything to just happen instantaneously. And it's, so I have to read my word now because I need to be prepared for Bible study groups.
Yeah.
And it's also helping me realize that it's a good way of holding myself accountable so that I'm actually knowing what the word says, because there's so many Christians, we think we know what the Bible says, but we don't. And we'll either operate off of what one preacher has said and stick to that and say that, yeah, that's it, that's gospel. Or we will operate off of generic cliches that you just hear Christians say. It's like, oh yeah, this is what it is because, God is good all the time is God is good. And it's just little things like that.
Yeah.
And we're saying things without actually understanding the meaning behind them or the significance behind them. I think one thing in particular that is often treated that way is when someone's suffering or they're going through a tough time.
Yeah.
And it's like, oh no, like you'll be fine, like God is with you. And I know, but in this moment, I'm hurting. In this moment, I feel it. And yes, God is with me, but that doesn't negate the emotions. If we look at the story of Job lost everything.
Yeah.
And if that was to happen in this day and age, Christians that are very much cliched Bible stuff like, oh, don't worry, God's going to replenish everything that happened to you 2 times over and blah, blah, blah. That doesn't change the fact that you just lost your whole family.
Right.
So you're allowed to sit in those emotions. It doesn't mean you have to turn your back on God, but God feels things, so we feel things. So that's okay. And I feel like where we're doing things in a way of we don't read the word, so we don't actually know the context. If someone was to ask you, was anyone in the Bible ever depressed? People will be like, oh no, like you can't really say you're depressed because you're a Christian. And okay, so what about Elijah?
Right.
I'm pretty sure that would class as depression.
Right.
So many different people went through things we go through now, but because it's like we know the end of their story, we know how things turned out, and we know that God is victorious. So we're very much, like everything's going to be fine. That doesn't negate how you're feeling in the moment. It doesn't get rid of it. And I feel like if more of us actually read the words and understood the emotions behind what these people are saying and what they're going through. David suffered. Like, I know he had his like fair share of faults, but oh my gosh, that guy had a very difficult life. But we look at it from a perspective of, oh, that's King David. He slayed Goliath and he did this and he did that and he's amazing. And he was a man after God's own heart. If you read some of the Psalms, would you say he was a man after God's heart? Because the way he speaks in the Psalms, sometimes it's like just constantly complaining at God, like, oh, God, you've abandoned me. You've let me down. What's going on here? Those are his real emotions. And I feel like in this day and age as Christians, we try to put that stuff to the side and over-spiritualize everything, over-Christianize everything, I guess. And it has to be positive. It has to be, but if we read the word, then we'll know that's not always the case. And I think that's why it's important to actually dive into the scripture.
That's good. Would you say your friendship group is in Christ?
Yes.
All of them?
Yes.
That is so good. Why is that important for you and to you?
I think, oh, okay, how do I answer this one? Because do you know what? It's an interesting one. So before
Mm-hmm.
I had, like your generic friendship group in school.
Yeah.
I think a few of us would have classed ourselves as Christians.
Mm-hmm.
Not all of us, but a few of us. And yeah, really good friends. Like, I've got so much time for those guys. I still speak to them now and again. And it's not to say that they're bad people.
Mm-hmm.
We just went
Different ways.
in different directions, And so when I first came to my church Hillsong, I was still very much, I kind of had it in my mind that, okay, these friends I have, like, they're cool
Mm-hmm.
and we get along to a point, but they're not exactly like me. So I'm not going to find anyone that's exactly like me, which means all my friendships are going to be seasonal.
Mm-hmm.
I'll be friends with you in school and then you at this club, and when I leave this
Right.
club, and like that. So I didn't think I would have friendships that would, I guess, stand the test of time in terms of what a friend actually is, because we call everyone a friend now, but that's not the case.
Yeah.
Most people are acquaintances. And so when I first came to my church, I had that mentality where it's like, okay, anyone I meet here isn't going to last. This is just a seasonal thing. And then I would show up to church every Sunday late, and I would leave early. So I wouldn't really interact with people for like a year.
Wow.
I was doing that because I was just very, like I said, I'm a shy person, but also just really awkward. And when I finally joined the youth team, that forced me to come out of my shell and interact with people. I had to interact with youth, their parents, other youth leaders. So there was one summer camp that we did, 2019, where, and I never thought I would camp in my life because I like to think I'm proper Nigerian,
So you would never.
Why are we camping outside?
That's true.
Flies and all this stuff. Nah. But I never thought I would camp. And they said, look, we need people, specifically more guy leaders. I just happened to be very available at the time. So I signed up. I said, okay, cool. I'll do the week. I did the week for the youth camp. And then for the young adults one, I attended that. And that was a spur of the moment thing because the first few days of the youth camp had been so good that we spent together, like, building relationship. And so my boy Antonio at the time, who was a youth pastor, was like, oh, like, guys, come to the young adults thing and let's, like, finish off the week strong, Signed up the night before, drove down to Wales, and it was honestly just amazing. From that moment, we all kind of connected. And that was when I realized what a community should be and should look like. And since then, I kid you not, I've been so, like, gung-ho about everyone in church finding that kind of community because I found that. And now I have friends that I can genuinely say I think we'll be friends for life. And it's because we're all on the same page.
Do you feel like you could have someone in your community that is a different religion?
You can. I feel like you can. I think it's a difficult one. But if we are... Oh, let me make sure the Christians don't come for me with this one.
Or anybody else. That's
if we're doing things the way Christ would, then we're supposed to treat and love everybody equally.
Right.
And so I don't think that means I should look at someone from another religion and be like, oh no, you can't be friends with us because da-da-da-da-da. Because you can also get some people that claim to be Christian,
Exactly.
but don't act like Christ.
Exactly.
And you can get someone that's an atheist or any other religion that they don't believe in God, but the way they live is very Christ-like.
Yeah.
So in that example, who should I be friends with? The one that claims to be like Christ or the one that actually is like Christ, And so I feel like it's not as simple as, when it comes to friendships and stuff, it's not as simple as the title. It's more about the people. So if you're a person that I think morally we align, you know, mentally we can like challenge each other. If I do something wrong, you can hold me accountable. If you do something wrong, I can hold you accountable. You know, we have a good time together. We can laugh and joke, not take ourselves too seriously. Then that's where you'll have like a strong foundation for your friendship. But I feel like you have to kind of be at a base level on the same page, which is what I think I've found with my friends now.
The answer to that is no then.
The answer to can you have a friend
that's not in Christ? Well,
I think you can, but it just, and this is where it's so difficult. You can, but it's like we also need to be wise.
Yeah.
And if what they're saying and doing disregards and disrespects my faith, then no.
Okay.
But if someone's able to respect my faith in the same way I would respect theirs, like I'm not gonna, you know, force you to come to church every Sunday, but if something's going on in your life, I'm gonna pray for you. Are you gonna be okay with me praying for you? If you are, then of course we can be friends. But if every time I try and say anything about Christ or you're not hearing it, then it's probably gonna, like, the tension will already start to rise, and it'll just feel like maybe this is not someone I should keep too close. Which is why I say some people are friends and some are acquaintances. Most are acquaintances, because not everyone is at a level where you can have that deep connection with, and I think that's actually okay.
You know why I would say yeah, because when I started my walk with Christ, before I even got to know Christ, I was a Muslim. I was always a Muslim, right? And my best friend, my testimony is so long. My best friend she still is a Christian. Her dad's a pastor. And I was like proper, like, don't talk about Christ next to me. Like, you have your religion, I have my religion, right? And she would pray for me. We stayed in the same room in university, the same room, because she didn't like her apartment. So she would live with me for the whole year. And she was very big on like praying every single night and reading her Bible every single night. And my thing was, if you're going to pray, don't pray for me. But she would pray for me every single night until one day I asked her, like, why do you keep praying for me? And she said that the Lord said her assignment is just to bring me home. So whether she likes it, whether I like it or not, she's going to pray for me, you know? And my thing was just go to your own room, go to your own apartment, get another room. But her thing was, if I'm in the room, even though I don't accept the prayer, she's still covering me. Right? And fast forward, later on in the year, she was one day reading about the miracles of Christ and like Christ walking on water and Christ turning water into wine. And I said, okay, if your God is so good, I want to speak in tongues right now. Because we somehow got onto the page of speaking in tongues. And then she was like, that's not how it works, but I'm going to pray. And I know that my God is going to deliver. And you're going to speak in tongues by the end of the year. I said, okay, whatever. Like, I'm sitting over here praying on my mat. You know, like, that's just not going to happen. She said that she got a word for me now to go to Warehouse Worship. You know, the event Warehouse Worship? And I said, okay, you know what? It's in Manchester. At the times we were in Coventry studying. And I said, okay, that's calm. What I'm going to do, I'm going to go to Manchester, scan the ticket, and then I'll go out to eat. So I arranged a meal and everything. Got to Warehouse Worship now. I got my ticket out to scan. Bear in mind, I was a Muslim, to scan quickly and then go home. And I came like so late to scan. And as soon as I stepped into the building, I started speaking in tongues. As a Muslim. So got there now, I started speaking in tongues. I didn't know what to do because I couldn't speak English until the event was finished. So I was speaking in tongues and I called my best friend, but I was just speaking in tongues. So she was just like, what the heck? Like, it is finished. She said it 5 times. It is finished. And 5 in the Bible represents the number of grace, right? So yeah, that happened. And then got out of the building, started speaking in English again. But in my head, I was still a Muslim, but I just didn't understand what was going on. But after I was on the phone to her, she told me to kneel down. Thank you. She told me to kneel down and say, just to experience what is going on. So I knelt down, but I've never felt peace like that before. Hence why I stayed in that position and in that posture. And when I left the event, I called her again and I can finally speak in English. I called her and I was like, oh, what happened? Like, did you like possess me? Like, what is going on? And then she explained to me what happened and the encounter that I had with Christ. And then ever since then, I started reading my word. Now look at me. I have a whole podcast about Christianity, right? So that's why I would say, I definitely agree with you in the sense of wisdom with who you have around you. There's some friends that I had to cut off because they were just, my best friend is possessing me. She is a demon and da-da-da-da. Bear in mind, I was a Muslim, so most of my friends are Muslim. So I agree with you in that point, but I don't think you should cut off every friend.
No, of course not.
You can be like
You're supposed to be an example and a light.
Exactly.
So and this is where
It's
so
difficult.
awkward, because it's like, if, do you know what? I think your situation is actually very unique, and it's amazing, because for her to turn around and say that was her assignment
Right.
is what's key there for me. I've come to understand not everybody is my assignment.
That's good.
And so unless I strongly feel like I'm supposed to like stay strong for this person and intercede for this person, then I can pray for them and then
Instance.
leave it to God, and okay, whoever's gonna water that seed can water that seed. It doesn't have to be me. You know, in your case, her saying that this was her assignment, I think is just
Crazy.
I need to hear from God like that. I'll be so real.
Honestly.
Just burning bush moment.
But I understand what you're saying, because even when I came to Christ, I was trying to tell my Muslim friends, like, you need to know about this God. Like, you won't be angry anymore. Like, you'll feel peace. And they were just not having it.
Yeah.
You know, and it's so irritating. So I understand where you're coming from, because that in itself can cause anger.
Yeah.
And now we're arguing about which God is better. And now we're arguing, and it's not about the goodness of God, but more so about, like, come here. And you know, and possession and this and that and this. So I understand where you're coming from. But my next question would be, how do you feel like your community has helped you?
How has my community helped me? In what sense?
Like, an example, let me say, for me, my community's helped me understand the importance of the love of God.
Okay.
Through the way they love
Got
me.
You.
Right?
Cool. I think for me, it does, I guess it may seem very surface level, this answer, but for me, it's showed me the importance of community as it should be, and showing up for people and being very, very present, because it's, I guess you could also say it is just love at the end of the day, because it's all very sacrificial, you know. So when you're making time for someone, even though you're tired, let's say someone calls you at 2 a.m. and they urgently need help and you're tired, but because this person has called you in desperation, it's like, I'm going to sit here and hear you out for as long as I need to, because I know right now you need it. That sort of thing, you know. Because there'll be so many situations that I would deal with where everyone likes to joke and say I'm the busiest person that they know, sort of thing, because I'm always saying, I need to do this, I need to do that, blah, 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 whatever. And I've also always said to my friends, like, look, if you ever need me, just call my phone. If I don't pick up the first time or the second time, leave me a message at some point. I will call and get back to you. More often than not, the times when someone has called me in almost desperation, my phone will be in my hand and I'll be like, oh, this is weird. Answer. Then I'll end up on the phone for another few hours.
Yeah.
And by the end of the conversation, I'll be like, okay, I now know why I needed to answer that call. And when it's been me calling someone else, or someone, I say me calling someone else, for me, it happens the other way around, where someone will call me and they'll be like, oh, Jed, I don't know what it is, but God's just, he wants me to tell you this, or he wants me to speak to you, or they'll mention something that's going on in my life and ask me about something that I'm neglecting to share. And I'll be like, oh my gosh, God, what are you doing? Like, you know, I don't want to talk about this, but now you're making them ask me about this thing specifically, you know? So I feel like that's what my community has done for me, especially, because I can now see the way we are supposed to relate to each other and the way we are supposed to actually love and show up for each other like Christ would.
No, that does make sense. So what made you start the Tribe Collective?
So in my mind, I always thought I would sign for a pro club at 18, start making good money, you know, get to the Prem, settle down, have kids, start a clothing brand because I had the money to fund it, sort of thing. And then COVID happened. And
COVID happened.
That just put a spanner in the works for everybody. I say for everybody. Maybe people in the content industry, they prospered from that. But I was stuck at home. I couldn't train. I trained as much as I could in my garden by myself, but I couldn't train, couldn't do anything like that. This was back when everyone was going out for 5K runs and stuff like that. And I just remember my mum saying to me like, oh, like you always said you wanted to do this clothing thing. Like, don't sit around and do nothing. You've got the time now. Like, start. And so I sat down and I was planning through it with my sister at the time. And I had a completely different idea from what I have now. At the time, it was just, I don't even know how to describe the tracksuits. Those like, almost like those sports ones.
Okay.
But not, I don't know how to explain it.
Like, would you like
when I
compare it
think
to
about
the
the
Nike
idea now,
ones?
it just doesn't make sense.
Would you compare it to the Nike ones?
Kind of, but not really. I don't know, it was weird. Whatever the idea I had was, it was terrible. And the brand was probably going to be called something like Relentless Ambition or just anything. I was coming up with all sorts of random names. I did designs, right, for a Relentless Ambition. So I had a whole logo that I designed. I did everything in COVID. And then one day when I was just sitting there designing stuff, something just kind of came to me. It was like, oh, there was an idea that you had that you said to someone a while ago at church before COVID. And I was like, African inspired streetwear. Because he was doing a brand and he was like, oh, like we should do a brand together. And I heard him say, I was like, oh, do you know what? How sick would it be if I had a tracksuit like that, but it had an African pin? And I just left it at that, right? And so fast forward to COVID now, and I'm just sitting there doing my little designs and drawings and stuff. And it's like, oh, you had an idea, African inspired streetwear. It's basically the same kind of designs, just a different twist. So then I started working on designs for that, and I had to come up with a name, and I was sat there struggling for so long. Like I said, I'm Nigerian. So I was asking my mom, like, oh, what should I choose? I need something that kind of like encompasses everything. She was telling me to pick some names in Yoruba and stuff. Like, no, I can't do that because then this tribe will be upset, and then these people and blah, blah. I need something that just says what it is, right? And gathers everybody together. And out of nowhere, God just dropped tribe on my heart. I was like, oh, tribe. What exactly does a tribe mean? Cool.
Okay.
Went and searched it. Okay, tribe works. But tribe what? Because you can't trademark something like that.
Yeah.
Right? I was like, oh, how about, and I think I had Connection. I think it was going to be Tribe Connection. And then after sitting down and speaking with like my sister, my mum, and just my family and stuff, it was like, oh, well, how about Collection? Because it's just going to be a collection of clothing. I was like, okay, cool. Tribe Collection, that works. Settled on the name, went and got the trademark. Even that, I thought that was going to take like a couple months. I honestly, the way I used to look at life, it was so idealistic.
Yeah.
Because I thought, okay, I got the name, done the designs, I'm going to trademark. This is all going to be, I'm going to be selling this. I think I did this in like maybe June or something. I'm going to be selling this in a couple months before the end of the year. My trademark didn't come through till like March the next year. And by then I hadn't even done my bulk orders or anything like that. So I was very much like, oh, this is going to take a lot longer than I thought. Like I said, I started working on this in COVID. The brand's official launch date was October the 1st, 2022.
Okay, so you've been working on it.
So it was 2 years that I worked on that before anyone could see anything. Even now we're in 2025, I'm taking things in a completely new direction. I say completely new, it's still African inspired, but the styles and stuff have changed. And that has now been the result of almost 2 years worth of work again, because I had to revise what I did from the last one. Okay, what went well, what needs improving, and then I landed on what I'm doing now, you know. So it's been a very interesting journey the way it all happened.
Yeah.
But I think it's something that God definitely put on my heart to do. And it's not a case of doing it so I can make money. Because I remember when I was trying to start it, my brother said to me, oh, if you're trying to make quick money, then a clothing brand is not, like, that's not something you do, sort of thing. And I had to sit and ask myself, like, okay, why am I actually doing this? Well, I want to have an impact and I want to leave something that will last.
Right.
You know?
Right.
And so I felt like as a community, Africans here could do with something like that. But it's not a case of, oh, it's just for us. It's more so I want everyone to see the beauty of Africa for what it is, not see, you know, the commercials online where it's like, oh, poverty here and this and that and there's wars and all these different things. Because I feel like the media can paint a very bad picture of the rest of the world.
Yeah.
Whereas when you go to a lot of these places, even though those things are going on, you'll find some of the happiest people you'll ever meet. You know, so I wanted to paint it in a light of like, kind of like how Black Panther did with Wakanda, and it's like, oh, like this is what it could be like, and there's all these amazing things that are going on, but we just don't know it. So I thought, okay, well, let me share like the patterns and the colors and the styles and all these different things that we have that people would be able to appreciate, you know? So that's how that went.
And now when's the new drop coming?
Oh, technically, I've not announced the date still, but I said it will be before the end of 2025.
Okay.
That's what I said.
So November, basically.
No. Yeah, I mean,
okay, so
I guess
December.
it's even November, December.
Yeah.
We'll see what it is.
We'll see what it is. But I just want to thank you so much for coming on the podcast. I just pray that your testimony goes out and blesses someone somewhere else. You've been a blessing to have on here. And I know that you're super busy. So I just wanted to say thank you for coming.
Okay, thank you for having me.
Is it okay if you pray us out?
Yeah, I can pray us out.
Were you going to say something?
No.
Okay.
Father, Lord, I just want to thank you for this wonderful day, Lord. Thank you for this episode. I thank you for what's going on here, Lord. I feel like in this day and age, we need more things like this where people stand up and be counted for Christ. And so I just pray that you bless this podcast. I pray, Lord, that you bless the message you're trying to send from here, and that someone will receive you and encounter you from the discussion we've had here and any other discussion that will happen on this show, Lord. I pray, Lord, that you will meet I want to say the young people. It's not just the young people. It's everyone that needs you, Lord, in this generation. And I pray, Lord, that you just meet them and let them encounter you fully through the work that is going on here, Lord. I pray, Lord, that you bless Miriam. I pray, Lord, that you bless everyone behind the scenes, Lord, that's making this work. And I pray, Lord, that you take this from these heights to even higher heights, Lord, and just have your way in her life and in the lives of everyone. In your mighty name I pray.
Amen. Make sure you guys like, comment and subscribe, and we'll see you next week with another video.